Well, I've got the whole rambunctious crew here with me. And Sherlock is trying to eat my microphone. Please don't do that. You might notice something a little different in addition to the crew here. There is a ruby right over my shoulder here. That's Bella. Bella doesn't normally live at our house. Are you still trying to eat my microphone?
Well, it really looks tasty.
Don't do it, please. Thank you. Oh. Anyway, Bella usually lives at our daughter's house, which is very close by, but that's where she lives. But she is here because she has an announcement. Oh, where'd you go, Bella? I don't know if she wants to tell you or if can I just tell them?
Go ahead.
Okay. We are planning on breeding Bella.
What did you say?
Yes, I said breeding, but not with you, young man. No, you're too young. Anyway, we've had all the health clearances done on her. Her heart, her eyes, her hips, and her patellas are all perfectly normal and good and sound. So we will feel pretty confident that she won't be passing any inherited disease or physical problems on to any puppies that she would have. And so she is ready. Are you ready? I think you're ready. She's ready to be bred. We have a stud dog picked out who is owned by a breeder that I've known for a long time, have a lot of respect for, and trust implicitly. And it's kind of an interesting story on how we arrived at the decision to use that stud dog. I was judging a few years ago at a big Cavalier specialty show up in New England, and this boy was a puppy. And when I saw him, I was absolutely blown away by all the potential in him as a puppy. He was already pretty well developed. His physical structure was excellent. The way he moved was beautiful. Head very good looking. And I always thought he would be a very good boy to keep in mind as a stud dog. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, getting a female ready for breeding is a very complicated and expensive proposition if you want to do it right. Let me show you something about how we can determine when the right time is to do the breeding. This is a chart that any serious breeder would be quite familiar with. There are a lot of versions of it, but I think this one's easy to understand. It shows the relationship between various hormone levels in the dog and what happens with ovulation and when the dog is fertile. The most reliable indicator of when ovulation takes place is this little spike here. LH stands for luteinizing hormone, and that always is an indicator that happens about 24 to 36 hours before ovulation. And then, of course, after ovulation, within 2 days, is your fertile period. But that's not a very long fertile period. You see, it lasts like 2 or 3 days, and that's it. So in order to pinpoint this, it would be great if we could pinpoint the LH spike. But to test for LH is kind of tricky because you can see it stays at a low level and returns back to that low level within a couple of days. So if you don't get the exact right date, you're not going to know that it spikes. Progesterone, on the other hand, is a hormone that stays at a very low level while the dog is not in heat. The number down here would be usually less than 1. And once the dog enters the heat cycle, it goes up and up and up and up and up, and it gets up to maybe in the 20s or so. And if the dog becomes pregnant, it will stay there until close to the end of the pregnancy, which is actually what triggers the birth process. Because the progesterone rise is very gradual, it's easy to get an indicator of where you are on this line. And you see, it's once the dog gets to this point or so, it just keeps going up. Right around here, it would be the end of the LH spike just before ovulation. And the number that you hit here with progesterone is around 5. And when it gets to around 5, it pretty much always keeps rising. So we're looking for a number greater than 5 when we do progesterone testing. Well, when we tested Bella, she was 0.6. So she's like down here someplace. But there's this other thing called cornification, which has to do with the types of cells that are present. And our reproduction vet did a study of the cornification level, and she said that it was definitely on the rise, and it indicated being probably around this area here, almost ready to get into what we call estrus, which is the actual cycle. So yesterday was when we did the first progesterone test, and I have another one scheduled for day after tomorrow. We'll see exactly where we are. We may have to go through 3 or 4 progesterone tests before we can pinpoint when ovulation takes place. So I'll keep you posted. This is going to be like a whole series here. This is wonderful. Having Bella here is a bit challenging with a young stud boy. Well, he thinks he's a stud, like Sherlock. You may notice that she's wearing panties there. The panties serve 2 purposes. First of all, she's still bleeding a little bit. She was bleeding a lot a few days ago. That's normal in the proestrus portion of the cycle when they first come into heat. So it keeps our clothing and furniture from getting permanently stained. But the other thing is, it keeps this little guy from trying to do you know what.
Me?
Oh, yes, you're in love, I know. It's okay. You are related, though. Keep that in mind. So, we'll have a series of videos. If everything goes well, I can go through all the steps that follow after the breeding, which would include, I guess it's going to have to include dogs leaving my couch because they see a bird flying around. Bootsy, you can go out with them too if you want. Are you too old for that? Huh? You can go out with them. So, watch for more videos. We'll keep you posted. I miss my dogs.